Hey everyone, Casey Scanlon here, bringing you another Lake of the Ozarks fishing report. It's the end of October. The water temps are still pretty high for this time of year. We got anywhere from low 70s to mid 60s right now. We're going into Halloween weekend, and you know, the fish are going to start biting here. We got a big cold front coming in. The water level is really low for this time of year. It's the water's very clear in most of the lake. Down here on the lower end of the lake, it's extremely clear. You get up there around, let's just say Hurricane Deck Bridge area, and you really get some more stained water. Water looks really good up there. And you know, and it kind of varies in between. You'll go into some creeks and the water might be a little dirtier here or cleaner over here. So, but that's all going to change. Like I said, we got a front coming in, going to get some rain with that. Looks like we might get an inch or so of rain, and we're going to get some freezing temps, which hasn't happened and you know, all year long. So these fish are going to start putting on the pounds for the winter. You know, they're going to start feeding, and we really did need a cold front. Temperatures in the 20s doesn't sound very fun to me to be fishing in, but a couple days of that probably is not going to hurt the fishing. Some rain wouldn't hurt it either, with these water levels so low and the water being so clear. Putting a little bit of color in the water might help. But overall, the bite's been pretty tough. A lot of pressure on the lake. We've had a ton of tournaments the last several months. But the bite's pretty tough. There's some really big fish showing up. I had several guide trips this week, and we caught some nice ones, some 4 or 5, even a 6-pounder out on one of those. So it was a good week to catch some big ones. Numbers weren't great. The bite has been changing daily, you know, just based on the conditions. I actually got a chance to fish a couple small tournaments, which normally don't do a ton of, but man, they were super fun. Did one this weekend. Me and my buddy Joe finished second in that. We did most of our damage on a spinnerbait that day. It was sunny, a lot of wind. We did have some mixed clouds, but the wind really helped that bite. We just covered a lot of water, caught them on a variety of stuff, and actually had a couple big bites that, you know, we didn't get in the boat, unfortunately. But most of those were, you know, a jig, or Buzzbait or Spinnerbait. But Spinnerbait was the main player. Trophy Bass Company, Ozark Flash is the one we throw most of the time, or I throw most of the time anyways, and great spinnerbait. 3/4 ounce, alternated between a 3/4 and a half, fishing it, you know, pretty shallow. Saw a lot of the bites happen. So just about covering water, chasing the wind, chasing the shade, but really just about putting it in your hand and covering water. It's hard to tell where a lot of these fish are going to come from right now. There's fish on the main lake. There's still a ton of fish deep. There's some fish shallow. They're tough to catch because of the pressure they've been getting and how clear the water is a lot of times. But if you get the right conditions, those fish really want to bite, and that's where I've been catching a lot of the bigger ones is up shallow. We did have some nice 3, 4-pound fish in some deeper spots this week. We were fishing out there with, you know, kind of some jigs. This right here, finesse jig, not my choice for fishing out deep. I'm mostly fishing, you know, a Trophy Bass Company pro jig, green pumpkin. This one's a 5/8 ounce with just some kind of craw trailer. Green pumpkin, brown, black and blue, all of them will work. You know, I like black and blue in the mornings, dirtier water, low light conditions, and then your natural colors like your browns and green pumpkins, you know, on your sunnier days or calmer days, clearer water. Crawdad trailer on the back of that. I'm using a big rod, 7'6", heavy action rod, so I can pull those fish away from the cover. A lot of times these fish are gonna be around brush piles, around boat docks. It's all kind of working right now, but the jig is a staple day in and day out. Fall, spring, summer, doesn't matter. Got the jig tied on. This time of year, I do like the finesse jig a lot. You know, put a finessier trailer on there. This is just one I tied up. It's got the living rubber on it. And we've got our Trophy Pro Finesse head on that. But 5/16, 3/8, 7/16. I put it on a little bit lighter line sometimes, you know, if I'm throwing that jig behind a dock, behind cables, stuff like that. You know, I want it on 20-pound line. If I'm fishing it more around, you know, rock, channel banks, things like that, and the water's really clear, trying to get a finessier presentation, I'll downsize to maybe 14-pound line. But that's about it. This is Bass Pro Shops, 100% fluorocarbon on that. I got 20-pound Bass Pro Shops, 100% fluorocarbon on the spinnerbait in most instances. I like 17 a lot on my moving baits, but the spinnerbait, a lot of times I'm gonna throw it up there around logs, around cables, and it gets big bites. So I wanna land those fish, and so I'm using a little bit heavier line at 20 pounds, just a little more abrasion resistant than say 17. So spinnerbait, jig, working really well. The jig bite, you really can't tell where these fish are coming. You just keep it in your hand. You know, you can fish docks with it. You can fish brush with it. You can fish out deep, whether that's around points or ledges or just live scoping fish. You can do it all with that jig. You can swim it around boat docks. It's a good versatile bait this time of year. The fish are moving a lot. Main lake, shallow, Baxico, secondary points, main lake points, all those are good targets right now, which is probably contributing to the fishing being a little bit tougher. You know, you just can't pin them down in one area. You got to look in a lot of places. The Buzzbait, I got, I believe this is a Crocagator here, 3/4 ounce. I like that one a lot. It does get kind of bent out of shape easily, but it's got a big blade, makes a lot of commotion. And then this right here is the my buddy James Watson's Worldwide Buzzer. It's probably my favorite buzz bait. Super versatile, easy to throw, makes a good sound. That gold blade's awesome. And you know, after that, you know, pretty much the plopper bite. You know, any kind of top water right now is a good bet to catch a big one. You know, black, bone, white, anything like that will work. We've been catching a lot of them on finesse stuff, whether it's shaky head, whether it's a drop shot. You know, on some of my guide trips, we're regulated to throw in spinning rods. So, you know, we throw a lot of the finessier stuff and do well on it. Flukes have been really good this week. Just a white pearl fluke. I got one right here that's torn up from being in the bottom of the boat. But fish have been coming up, whether you're throwing that on the bank or around boat docks. They really do like to come out and eat that thing when they're suspended. So we got some suspended fish. You can target them with jerk bait, that fluke, a Ned rig, the jig. You just want a little bit slower fall on some of those baits. A wacky rig can be good. There's a lot going on here at the lake, but we've got some weather coming in. So we've got some big tournaments this weekend, and I imagine, you know, your bigger baits like your spinnerbait, your glide baits, your top water, and of course a jig are really going to be a player. So look for the shad, chase the wind, fish the conditions, and you're gonna catch some fish out there. They are biting. The big fish are showing up more and more every day now. So good luck to all you guys out there. If you're looking for a guide trip and want to go this winter, whether it's learn live scope, learn how to fish a jerkbait or a jig, or just go out there and catch some bass and crappie, I do have some guide trips available, and I'll put a link down there to some of my sponsors and some of the gear that we talked about. But until next time, good luck out there, and hope you guys catch a big one.